Morning drifts over the city, soft and silver. Cars whisper down wet streets. Somewhere, a kettle sighs on the stove, and inside a tiny watch repair shop, time itself holds its breath. They say time forgets no one, but for one man, time had begun to remember him. Julian Marks, a man who lived by seconds. Every tick, every breath, every moment measured with precision. To him, time wasn't just motion, it was meaning. But on this morning, something felt wrong. Morning drifts over the city, soft and silver. Cars whisper down wet streets. A kettle sighs on the stove, and clocks tick in quiet unison, their rhythm steady as breath. Inside a small watch shop, Julian Marks sits at his workbench, surrounded by the delicate ticking hearts of 100 clocks. He moves with calm precision, as though his hands already know what comes next. He pours 2 cups of tea, though only one chair stands across from him. Steam curls upward, trembling in the morning light. Then, almost without knowing why, he whispers, "She'll be here any second now." And as the words leave his lips, the door chime softly rings. A woman steps inside, rain still clinging to her coat. Their eyes meet for the first time, or perhaps the second. And before she could speak her name, he said it, "Eva Collins." Her face froze. "How did you know my name?" He couldn't answer, because he didn't know. Yet somehow, he remembered her. Not as a stranger, but as someone he had already lost. That moment, the faint smile, the scent of rain on her coat, the way her hair fell across her cheek, it all felt like memory. Not a first meeting, but a recollection. Time for Julian Marks had begun to fold. The present no longer felt new, it felt remembered. And that is where our story begins, with a man who could remember what hadn't yet happened. A man standing quietly on the edge of something beyond the ordinary. What began as a whisper of déjà vu would soon become a storm that shattered everything he believed about time, memory, and love. The man who remembered the future, a story beyond the ordinary.
The days drifted by, quiet, shapeless, as if time itself no longer trusted its rhythm. Morning blurred into night, and night blurred back into morning. Something had changed inside Julian Marks, and time could feel it. Little moments began to repeat, or perhaps predict. He reached for a cup just before it slipped from the counter. He looked at the phone, and it rang. He spoke of things that hadn't happened until they did. He wasn't guessing. He was remembering forward. He began keeping notes, sketches of moments not yet lived, timestamps of events still waiting to arrive. He called them future memories. Each page felt like a bridge, a fragile thread between what was and what would be. And then, she returned. Eva Collins, the woman who had unknowingly started it all. Days drift by, quiet, shapeless, as if time itself no longer trusts its own rhythm. Little moments begin to repeat, or perhaps predict. He reaches for a cup seconds before it falls from the counter.
He looks at the phone, and it rings exactly as he foresaw. Eva returns one afternoon. She laughs nervously as he explains his future memories. A coin flips through the air, lands exactly as he predicted. Rain begins suddenly, just as he said it would. They share quiet smiles over coffee, watching droplets race down the window. Her reflection overlaps his in the shop glass, a faint echo of what is, what will be, and what they cannot yet name. And then, almost in a whisper, Julian murmurs, "It's not just time I remember. Sometimes I feel things I shouldn't yet know, like how you look at me when the clocks fall silent." Eva froze for a heartbeat, the steam curling from her cup between them like a delicate veil. She doesn't answer, but the tremor in her smile says enough. Time folds again, softly, invisibly, as if it too is listening to unspoken truths. His notes fill faster now, pages covered with sketches, timestamps, spirals, and her name. But beneath the numbers and loops, a quiet understanding grows, something unmeasured, beyond the ordinary. She smiled nervously. "You said my name last time before I even spoke. How did you do that?" Julian hesitated, searching for words. "Because I think I already knew you." She laughed, a small, uncertain laugh. But when one of his memories unfolded before her eyes, a dropped coin, a passing car, a sudden rain shower, the laughter faded. Together, they began to test it.
Time began to stretch, thin, fragile, like glass about to break. Julian's visions grew longer, minutes ahead, hours, sometimes whole days. He could see what hadn't happened: a woman crying in a market, a man losing his briefcase in the rain, a train stopping under a storm. Little moments, harmless, until one of them wasn't. One night, the memories came all at once. He saw her, Eva, lying still beneath cold white lights, machines beeping softly, her hand unmoving, her name echoing in his mind like the last chime of a clock. He woke gasping, the echo of her silence still ringing in his ears. For the first time, he wasn't remembering a moment, he was remembering a loss. From that night on, his journals became chaos, pages filled with half-sentences, circles drawn around her name, arrows pointing to the same date again and again. Each time he remembered the future, a piece of his past slipped away. Faces, names, places, fading like old photographs in sunlight. Eva found his notebook one night, her name written over and over, and beneath it 5 trembling words: "The day I forget her." Her eyes fill with tears. "Julian," she whispered, "what does this mean?" He looked up, lost, fragile. "It means the more I remember what's coming, the more I lose what's already been." Eva sits beside him, gently holding his hand. Light flickers like the beating of a heart. She held him, the man who could see the future, but was slowly forgetting his own life. He smiled faintly. "It's strange, Eva. The closer I get to tomorrow, the less I know about yesterday." A tear rolls down her cheek. Love in that moment felt like time itself, beautiful but cruel. Julian looking out the window as lightning flashes, the clocks behind him all stop at once. The next night, the world would stop. Every clock, every drop of rain, time itself would fall silent. Some moments are not meant to be remembered, but he remembered them all.
It happened without warning. Streetlights flickered. The rain outside slowed, every droplet suspended in midair. Inside the workshop, 1,000 clocks fell silent. For the first time, time itself stopped watching him. He whispered, "It's gone quiet." But then, the quiet began to whisper back. A low hum filled the room, voices overlapping, fragments of memories colliding. The past, the present, the future, all speaking at once. Time was folding, not around him, but through him. "Julian!" she cried. Her voice trembled through the frozen air like a bell cutting fog. He turned slowly, already knowing the words she would speak. "I'm losing you, aren't I?" And with her, he whispered the same words, perfectly synchronized. Not to death, not yet, but slipping beyond reach, tangled in the threads of time itself. A distance unseen, yet deeply felt, stretching between moments they both longed to hold. "How did you know that?" she whispered. He answered, voice trembling, "Because I remember what hasn't happened yet." The clock spun in reverse, hours bleeding into minutes, minutes collapsing into seconds. The world shuddered, flickering between day and night. "Eva, I've been remembering your death." "Julian, you can't fight time." "Maybe we're not meant to fight it. Maybe we're meant to understand it." As their hands touched, the frozen world cracked open. Every clock burst to life, ticking backward, then forward, as if confused. The storm outside reversed, raindrops rising back into clouds. In that blinding white light, they stood together, not bound by time, but beyond it. For a heartbeat, there was no past, no future, only love suspended in eternity. Then, silence. And from that silence, a single sound. Tick, tick, tick. Morning was coming again, but everything had changed.
Morning arrived like a hesitant guest. The rain was gone, the streets lay empty, glistening in fragile sunlight. And in the heart of the workshop, the air still carried the scent of candle wax and storm. Eva opened her eyes on the cold floor. The world around her was moving again, but Julian was nowhere. Only the soft ticking of a single clock filled the silence. Tick, tick, tick. "Julian?" Her voice trembled through the still air. She turned, yet every mirror reflected only her. Somewhere in her mind, a river whispered again, a flow of moments remembered, a stream of Julian's unseen presence. It curled around her thoughts, bending time softly, pulling her heart into the quiet current of what had been and what could never be touched again. A reminder that some things and some people exist beyond the ordinary. He had left behind the language of time, equations she couldn't read,
but beneath them, written in trembling ink, a single line. When you hear the ticking stop, remember, I am near. With shaking hands, she pressed play. The recorder hissed, then Julian's voice filled the room. If you're hearing this, Eva, it means time let me go before it let you wake. Don't look for me in the clocks. I'm not there anymore. Not gone, just elsewhere. I'm alive, but moving through moments she cannot yet touch, watching you live the seconds we never had. Eva's fingers trembled. The river of memory in her mind swelled, a quiet, invisible presence carrying him through her, through the workshop, through time itself. She realized then that absence was not the end. He was still there, alive, not lost to death, but slipping between the threads of time. She was upset because she cannot see him, cannot touch him, yet feels him in every pulse, every breath, a presence just out of reach. He was still there, in the fold between moments, a love suspended in the space beyond the ordinary. Dear viewers, if tonight's journey made your heart pause, if the whispers of time and memory stirred something deep within you, then step with us once more, beyond the ordinary. Like this video, so the echoes of this story continue to live. Subscribe and let the next mystery find you, because sometimes the next story is already remembering you.